No, this cannot be understood so perfunctorily. One should be more precise using terminology, because terminology in art is so complex and subtle. And most often, people overreact, argue just because they interpret a term with significant connotations. But you use the terms charlatanry with such an adamant attitude that its censuring meaning couldn't be questioned. Sure, as you say, in the censuring meaning that I apply to this term, my attitude is ultimately adamant. However, you refer this term to fairly big names of artists whose talent is widely appreciated. Indeed. Moreover, a charlatan can be very, very talented. Furthermore, charlatanry itself can be art. Nevertheless, with regard to genuine art, the art that is the real cultural value, the art that upbrings humankind, the art that is needed, charlatanry is a substitution, a surrogate, fraud and swindle, just as art itself. Art itself is a swindle and fraud. Here we start the wordplay. Art is fraud. Well, what I call charlatanry is a swindle, a substitution in an absolutely different sense. The quackery of art is that which Pushkin so charmingly calls figment. Remember that? In harmony do I revel sometimes, and figment bursts me into tears. It is the genuine truth that lives in an artist's soul, that is naturally merged into his innermost ideas, dreams, and that spontaneously seeks to break out, being manifested in colors for a painter, in sound for a musician, in a vivid character for an actor. It's not for nothing that this art was referred to as not just true, but a greater truth. But just as truth is deep and pure, true art is a pure, chaste reflection of the soul of a creator. Chaste? Yes, it means without an admixture of some commercial anticipation, without any outside interference. Pecuniary? No, not only pecuniary. Maybe even least of all and less frequently pecuniary. It's about the wish to be liked, ambitiousness, the desire to be popular. Sounds like the greatest artists didn't have incentives of that kind. It was all there, you name it. Everyone wants to be popular. Ambitiousness and even envy are innate to many. And tell me who didn't have pecuniary aspirations? Dostoevsky, Turgenev, Chekhov had, and Pushkin too. But during the creative process, in the very fever of artistic embrace, there is no trace of any impure calculation. A true artist seeks his tools of influence only in the depth of those excitements that his soul is constrained by. Remember that? When poetry awakening in me, my soul constrained by lyrical excitement, It throbs, it vocalizes, seeking through the dreams to burst at last with free manifestation. Lo and behold, a viewless fellow crowd, my good old friends, the fetus of my dreams. When an artist seeks his technical expressions, he is not parted from this fellow crowd, even taking their dictation and control. He is their slave. So his victory lies at the heart of this conscientious, unequivocal submission of the artist-technician to the artist-dreamer. So while the artist-technician creates, he does not experience any feeling inimical to his servile submission to the dream. He must fulfill all its requirements to master it. He must dissolve, pass away in his dream to be revitalized, merging with it. And when it comes to a charlatan, even if he has such a fellow crowd of friends, he doesn't trust them. He doesn't believe in their magical powers. He does not believe in himself, because he is possessed by an impure calculation. He is enslaved not by a creative dream, but by that calculation alone. Being dominated by that calculation, he seeks the tools of his technical expressions in a wrong direction, tries to deceive by a substitution. So he cheats. Both of them, the genuine, chaste, authentic creator and the charlatan, pursue one goal: to find accurate words, characters, colors. But the first one seeks in the nature of his dream, and seeks for the purpose of manifesting his dream in a more complete, efficient way, even that he keeps in mind that he will later sell it for money, fame, or some hype. Keeping that in mind, he doesn't accept any other technique but his personal, creative, because he believes in no other. A contrario, the charlatan is predominated by this calculation. He is not a slave of this dream, but of some other impure pursuit, and so he seeks the tools of influence anywhere, but not in the depth of his dreams. A charlatan's only deep belief is that the public that he seeks connection with is a herd, and that he can cloud their eyes, and that they may be, or even must be, cheated. Wait, you reminded me of... Let's have a look in Dal, the explanatory dictionary of the living great Russian language. Here, a charlatan is a deceiver, braggart, and a cheat. The one who deludes people, clouds their eyes, tricks, spoofs, by various means fools and robs. All the same, this definition can be applied to genuine art as well. Of course, this is where the audience gets trapped. This is what leads to misconceptions. Charlatanry can be so skillful that it pollutes the air to suffocation, so it's hard to discern the subtle fragrance of true art. But give it time. Someone will open the window, the bad odor will drift away, and the healthy smell will stay. You are correct with your review of Dahl's interpretation. All those tricks, clouding the eyes, spoofing, all this can be said about art as a field of high spiritual influence. It also applies to religion, where charlatanry finds a huge alcove. It's been so throughout centuries. So we can make a certain conclusion. The more ignorant the public is, the stronger and the more assertive is charlatanry. The public is same ignorant when it comes to arts as when it comes to cognition of the nature's mysteries. Although charlatans often overestimate the ignorance of the public, I would say eventually that's where they get in the soup, because the public, after all, is only ignorant up to a certain limit, up to a certain grade of tolerance. However, still, according to a famous saying, whoever digs a pit can fall into it, a charlatan may be taken aback for a moment, but then he's a walking and talking. Again he's assertive, again his impudence is mistaken with that very courage that is inherent to the true, genuine art. For example, let's take two actors, two theater directors, two poets, or two painters. The first one is straightforward and humble. He is in true art, he is chaste, deep to the extent possible, but confident and courageous. The other one's most sacred dream, suppose, is to be ingenious, new at all costs. He is not humble, he is shallow. He either overestimates his potential or does not trust it at all. He has either a dandyfying, arrogant confidence, or he is a coward. But he shines, and he is the epicenter of public attention. Well, he couldn't live without that attention. Looks like any splendor or glamour you designate by charlatanry. No, not at all. What do you think of Oscar Wilde? Was he a charlatan? No, no. Even to contrast his paradoxes, his boutonniere to the amazing in his pure heavenly depths, Alexander Blok. No, Wilde was an absolute harmony, totally natural. But all that duplicate Wilde's, all those who got a grip on the boutonniere and imitated his sinful life, are probably charlatans. Here I'm coming to another conclusion. The bigger thirst for novelty the public has, the greater expense charlatanry has. The public gets caught at this bait most often because novelty is the hardest thing to assess. Just a quick word, please. Even a genuine artist may slip into charlatanry when he shifts from his dream and prefers to be a slave of an outside interference. When it comes to Russian crowd, charlatanry happens to be as successful as the syndrome of Khlestatov. The two phenomena are cognate, but not self-same. So now, if we get back to the beginning of our conversation and recall those names that either clamorously or imperiously, receiving applause, laughter or mockery, break into the atmosphere of contemporary arts, if we apply all our sensitivity and fairness to trace the facets between the authentic art, the authentic pathos and charlatanry, the facets that are maybe capriciously combined in one person.